Tech Talk Thursday.
Hoover Dam Week.
Hoover Dam.
We're doing a drawing for a chance to win a handheld penetrometer. There's going to be 3 winners, so they are going to be new subscribers for this month. So like, subscribe, hit that little bell to get notifications, and you will be entered into a drawing to win a pocket penetrometer. And we are also, John is going to be doing a video, I think next week, about how to use it. So a little how-to, so you'll know what to do when you get yours. He's a big fan of those. What are your thoughts, David?
Well, stress strain guy here, look at this, pounds per square inch.
Oh, you're also a fan.
Oh yeah, look at that. Measures,
David loves it.
You don't even have to do the conversion.
measures stress for you in the field, out of your pocket. What could be better than that, stress strain guy says.
He's a big fan. Who's the awkward one now, huh?
Apparently me. Well, Patchouli I feel like is with me.
Yeah.
I think it's cool. I'm not like...
Shiny.
As we digress, we are talking about...
Concrete temperature in the Hoover Dam. And we've got some pictures that were... There's a great book on the Hoover Dam, Joseph E. Stevens, An American Adventure. And if you haven't read it, it really is about an American adventure that really built one of the great wonders in the world, which is the Hoover Dam. And that is all part of our American heritage, but the thing that I love about it is how they really innovated, you know, the wild frontiers of concrete to create this massive, amazing structure in the middle of nowhere.
Did you just say the wild frontiers of concrete? I love you. That's what...
Well, I mean, we're talking train tracks and mules and
It is the
wagons and
People dying, people sacrificing their lives, taking their families out to the middle of nowhere and pitching a tent along the mighty the trickle of the mighty Colorado River. I mean, that is something awesome. I mean, there were times out there that the temperature soared above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and there were times that it was in the negatives and people died. I mean, families perished. So this is the wild frontiers, and I don't mean to get passionate about it, but you know, when you go there and you feel the history of the Hoover Dam, like, it is
very powerful.
One of the most amazing structures. So great book. We're going to put a link below. One of the things that we're talking about today is temperature.
Right.
And we've already talked about some of the equations that were developed in the 50s, which I think were a result of, you know, structures like the Hoover Dam. That talked about thermal shock due to temperature change and the mass and the materials that you're using, as well as empirical evidence. But what they did back in the day that was revolutionary, and I'd like to go into that. So first of all, why did we care about temperature, David? And by the way, David is our Hoover Dam expert. So for all dams, why do we care about temperature?
Well, when we do these massive pours, these huge volumes, we know that concrete, when it begins to cure, it takes heat in, but as it cures, it lets heat off. It's exothermic. So we might be looking at temperatures 150, 180, 190 degrees. I mean, really hot. Concrete's still liquid, still plastic, so it can swell. But then it hardens and it wants to cool, wants to shrink. Shrinkage is tension. Concrete very weak in tension. So it strains, tension, strain causes cracks.
Now, the problem with cracks, especially when you're talking about a structure that's holding back water, is...
Not a good thing. I mean, you know,
water will go through the cracks.
Water will go through the cracks. That's right.
There are some beautiful pictures and a wonderful video that we're going to put together on some of the dam failures that have been put together by Hollywood. Dam failures.
Oh, I
specifically the Hoover Dam, and we're going to analyze what it really should look like versus what it has looked like. And that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is measuring temperature and controlling temperature.
Right.
What I would like to focus on today is what they used to control the temperature, how they measured it, and could we do that today? And if not, what would we do today? So looking at these pictures first, this is from Joseph E. Stevens' book, And one of the first things that you recognize in the construction of the Hoover Dam, so this is an aerial view, is that they did not do a monolithic pour.
Right.
Right.
One of the reasons why they cite they couldn't do a monolithic pour is it would reach too high of a temperature. Somewhere around 100 or you know in the high, you know, hundreds, 200s, if they poured it in one shot, it would take 125 years to cure, because the bigger your concrete, the longer it holds on to temperature.
Right. It just takes a while to get to the exterior surface and dissipate.
Right. And what was the thing that, again, we talked about earlier that was a result of doing a monolithic pour? The stresses that would be built up would be so great that it would cause
It causes cracking.
cracking. And again, like Whitney said, cracking
Water
is
will
bad.
go through cracks. Water will go through the cracks.
So, I mean, just looking at it from an aerial view and then looking at a close-up, nice portrait of going up the dam. David had said this in another video. When you go to these dams, you don't look like this. You don't look like this. You have to look up like this to look at the dam. And that's what they're doing here.
Right.
And you can see the staircase that they're creating.
Right.
What was the second thing that they did, David, for controlling the water? Or controlling temperature?
You answered your own question.
I was that guy on the tour.
You were, I love you. You are that guy on every tour.
So they use a cooling system. They use pipes, cooling pipes, circulated river water, in some cases ice water, to try to dissipate that heat as quickly as they could.
Now, those cooling pipes were made out of copper.
Right.
So you imagine the amount of copper that was used. You see his eyebrows? Could we use that amount of copper today? Could we get that amount of copper today?
No, probably not, you know. And, you know, we hear about people ripping out wiring from houses for the copper and whatnot. They just probably exceed the cost of the construction of Hoover Dam.
Right, so, you know, and that was the impetus of this video, you know, could we use the same technologies? And right there, one of them, the answer is no.
Right.
That's one of the hardest things. The other thing that they did, which was in J. David Rogers' paper from the 75th anniversary symposium, was they used cooled water and sometimes ice in the concrete. And another thing they did, we did a video on concrete mix design for the Hoover Dam. In Rogers' paper, he talks about in the winter they used a blend of 60% coarse-grained Portland cement, and then they used 40% of the standard Portland cement that was available.
Right.
And in the summer, they use 100%
Of the course.
of the coarse. So, I mean, even that was an innovative method of the day. But one of the other things that they did that, you know, is not really I think it is recognized, but we've gone in a different direction with mass concrete and temperature controlled concrete. It's more chemical and supplementary cementitious. They use bigger rock. And rock doesn't generate heat. Unless molten rock, but that just is hot.
It'll absorb heat and store heat, but it doesn't generate. Now, cement guy, why does the fine cement make a difference in the temperature?
So there's two things when it comes to heat of hydration when we talk about temperature. The fineness of the cement, which gives you a finer cement, gives you a higher degree of surface area for the water to contact with, and for you to have that hydraulic reaction.
Right.
But then it was also the chemistry of it. You know, when looking at the two parent materials that we care about, when we look at cement, there's tricalcium silicate, dicalcium silicate. Tricalcium silicate is going to be that compound that's going to react faster. It has more of a hexagonal, cubic structure to it, and again, more surface area. The dicalcium silicate is more rounded, and sometimes it's found within the tricalcium silicate. I'm getting all blushy here. I get
So excited about
so there's the cement that they used. Then that coarser grained cement had less surface area to it, and it didn't react as fast because of that, but then it also had less tricalcium and more of the dicalcium, and if I'm remembering correctly from the book, the 28-day strength was 2 to 3,500 psi, and then from J. David's paper, J. David Rogers' paper on the 75th anniversary of the Hoover Dam Symposium, he said that they were getting strengths from, you know, around 7,500 psi. And that's why I got so pissed off at that tour guide. He should have read this paper.
He should have, but babe, what?
Like,
you know,
isn't that required reading when you're a
I
tour?
don't think
Anyway.
so.
So it goes back to, could we build it today using the same methods? And I think the answer is not all the same. We still care about the same things.
Well, we're still building dams around the world, so I mean, you know, we can build dams. But yeah, as you say, I mean, the technologies have changed.
Right.
Oh, significantly.
The cement sources have changed.
The materials in general have changed.
Aggregate, we're getting different aggregate because we're just, and the ASR that we have to deal with. So today, I mean, we're still going to use thermometers. I mean, they embedded thermometers in here, and if you look at some other papers, they even show strain gauges.
Right.
That they
Well, and using ice to cool things down, I mean, that's something that's still used today at times.
Totally,
so.
but I think we would go more chemical,
Sure.
more supplementary cementitious, but still use the forming system, not creating a monolithic, using that stepping system that they used. And I really don't get into that much dam construction. I would love to.
But on a simple scale, I mean, we see that every day. Look at pavements. I mean, they make a pavement sort of one piece at a time.
Right.
You know, they don't make 100 miles. You know, they come back and saw it for joints
Sure.
and whatnot. So.
No, and we have that volume change to worry about and the cracking that's induced.
Exactly.
So the thing that I do want to point out is we might have more accurate ways of watching the concrete cure over time and the impact on the volume strain or volume change based on the technology that we have, whether it's wired temperature,
Sure.
you know, or temperature sensors, or it's, you know, wireless. You know, we have the ability to watch how our decisions on the mix design and the mechanical, or the design of how we're placing it is impacting the real world.
Right.
The bookcrete, and then we could take lab information for labcrete and then obviously measure it in a similar method and make some real-time decisions. So I think
Right.
that's the biggest change that we have today, is how much more precise we can be
Absolutely.
with the kinetics of hydration. That being said, the reason why I love the Hoover Dam is the size of it and the technology that they used. I mean, a lot of the standards that came after the Hoover Dam are really just I don't know what you call it, but a byproduct of that awesome
Just
job
huge
site.
undertaking.
There are foundations in many of the current specifications. There's no question.
And that, to me, is the most important part. When you talk about the Hoover Dam, you're talking about the foundation. The foundation of the construction industry
Sure.
that we know and love today.
Right.
Whew. Get these books. There's some great books out. We hope you learned something. We hope you had a good time. I know we did.
We did.
Right.
Let us know if you have any concrete questions, concrete concerns, and don't forget about the beginning of this video where David and
Like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And you could win a pocket penetrometer.
handheld.
Handheld.
Oh, good grief.
Measure stress on site.
And it's shiny.
Go concrete!
Beat asphalt.